Alrighty, people. Alrighty, everybody. People, I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and this is the Lifeboat. People, going back on here real quick because there's some things that need to be said. And, I have agreed from the word go that I am going to share the majority of what's going on in my life with the boat. So, it would sort of be bad form for me to work through this on my own. And it is super essential that all of these things get said sort of out in the open and in public, and that's something that that means the world to me. So I want to make sure that that this is done and done appropriately. I was in the process of getting ready to make a video and put up. And here's the deal. I have okay, laugh. I said here's the deal. I'm going to be going back to work soon, people, because I no longer have that vicious C 18 plus 1, right? So because I don't, in the very near future, I'm going to be heading back to work. Knowing that ahead of time, I started to do some things to prepare for that inevitability. First thing I did was to start filming videos that I've got sort of put up and in the can, for lack of a better way to put it. And these videos are there so that if I come home from work and I'm feeling haggard, I still have the ability to post a video. And I have the ability to post a video as a premiere. I'm going to be doing a lot of the videos that I've got going on in the near future here as premieres. What that means is that as the video is being shown, you people will have the opportunity to do what you're doing now in the comment section. So for lack of a better way to think about it, it's really like a live feed, but I'm not going live. Does that make any sense? What it means is that the comment section is live. In spite of the fact that the video is in the can and had already been filmed, it's going to be a live video. I mean a live chat area, so you'll have the opportunity to do that. Because I had videos in the can, I had been sitting here and thinking to myself, I'm just going to take some time off. The reason being, I'm frustrated. What happened yesterday is a glitch. There's nothing you can do about glitches. They just simply happen. There is nothing that can be done to prevent glitches, right? They're not something that I did. It's just something that is going to happen. And the more live feeds you do, the more there is an opportunity for glitches to happen. I talk really, really fast. Right now I'm trying to slow down, but I talk really fast. And if I'm in the middle of a feed, I'm cooking, right? I really get to the point where I'm moving fairly quickly. So because of that, if by some chance, 7 seconds disappears, there's an awful lot that could be said in 7 seconds, right? But because, we do that and we work without a net, things are going to happen. And they did. So I came here and I did a quick video. People, the number of emails that I got since doing that video have been astounding. And I got some support. I got some people that said, "Hey, don't worry about it." The people that said that were there. The people who heard what I said about Chi-Chi have sort of rallied to support me. Here's the thing, people. The rest of them said things concerning, basically I should be ashamed of myself for saying something about, I don't know how you listened to the last live feed that I did, and think that I said something. Let me say something real quickly to everybody so that this sort of gets hammered home. I have never said anything about Chi-Chi that I do not stand by. She is the most positive individual I have ever met. And when I think of beauty and beautiful people, she's the first person that comes to mind. I will stand by that. I'm quite proud that I said that. I absolutely believe that wholeheartedly, and I'm going to continue with that. So I was thinking, because of the frustration that I was starting to feel, that perhaps I just need to take, a few days and step away from this and calm down. While doing that, I went over to the Lifeboat group, and I came across a gentleman that had left a message saying that something triggered him, and he's struggling right now to not drink. And Mr. Workman, aka Saigon Cinnamon, was immediately there talking to this person about why you don't want to let this happen, and how there are going to be things along the way that cause frustration. Basically, what Saigon Cinnamon was doing was being a great crew member on this boat, doing exactly what you should do to try to help people in that situation. And what I found was, after reading that, I thought, man, those are the people that I'm putting these videos up for, right? The people that need that kind of support. So I'm going to continue to do what I do. I'm going to continue to post videos. I'm going to continue to film videos. But people, there's no negativity in me. For those people that want to drag drama out of this, where it does not exist, boy, take a good look at what you're doing. Take a good look at how your thoughts and how your actions are shaping your life. I'm not mad at you. I'm really not. But if you think that I said something about this woman, then you don't know how I feel about her. Fortunately, I think she knows how I feel about her, and that's enough. And there were a lot of people on that. There was enough people that heard everything I said about her last night that know that the difference between what was posted and what was said is so far apart from one another that should be enough. Let me give a shout out to a couple of people. We got Flaming Jackson, we got Beth, we got Charlie Mullins, we got Chris Gagg, we got, let me see here, Tam Tam, good to see you. Really appreciate you coming on. We're getting some people coming in. I know that I do back-to-back live feeds is not the way to get a bunch of people onto a live feed, but I felt the need to come on here and to sort of clarify, and also I want people to understand something. I'm not apologizing for something I said. If somehow you got that out of my last video, I'm not apologizing for something I said. I'm apologizing for how a technological glitch made something sound to a person that I care greatly about. Peppers and Kentucky Living. Hey, good to see you. Glad you're here. People, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that I love her. No shame in saying that. I absolutely love her, and there's nobody on this boat that knows her that does not love her. So I'm not asking for apology for something that I said that was wrong, because I didn't say anything that was wrong. I was coming on here to make sure that if I didn't get a chance to speak to her, that she saw that I'm sorry that she hurt. I'm sorry that she saw something that really had to be very, very painful, and I'm sure shocking. Like, one of those things that must have not made any sense, because the interaction that we have had for so long has been so positive. I'm sure that it was a slap in the face, and it hurt me to think of her coming across that video and seeing that. That was the purpose of the last live feed. It was not to come on and say, boy, I made a mistake. People, I'm going to make mistakes, right? I want to keep this boat going for an incredibly long period of time. I want to help as many people as possible. You understand? For that reason, I am going to spend a lot of time talking. I am going to spend a lot of time live. When that happens, and you work without a net, there are going to be times that I say something and I go, oh Lord, why did I say that? This is not one of those times. Right? When I do make a mistake, I am going to come here. Filthy Phoenix, good to see you. The Swiss Vapor, you made it on, my friend. We got you, and this is actually live. He has reached out and said that he really feels tough when he doesn't make it. Mike Hawk, good to see you. Excellent. So people, if I say something that I regret, you're going to hear about it, and you're going to hear about it in seconds. But if I'm not in the wrong, I most assuredly am not going to allow people to think that I am. The subscriber count dropped. There were people who literally have run away because they think that I said something bad about Chi-Chi. Then they don't know me. People, there are individuals who have chosen to really take shots at what I do here. There are people who have chosen to make videos for no other reason than to take shots at what I do here. And it has literally become sort of the basis of the things that they do on their channel. I'm not taking shots at them. I don't speak negatively about people. Ever. It's not my thing. And if I do, I try to keep it on a short leash and go, wow, what am I saying? I'm better than that. And I certainly will never do it here. Do you understand? This is an oasis of love in a sea of hate. This, right? This is an oasis of love in a sea of hate. I'm not going to do anything to help perpetuate the hate that takes place in social media. You understand? It is never going to happen. I am here for one reason and one reason only, for the addict. I am here in every way, shape, and form for people fighting the good fight and trying to live a life free from addiction. Right? So I'm not going to do anything to harm those individuals, right? I'm not even going to lash back when they choose to lash at me. So if you thought I was apologizing for saying something that I shouldn't have, then you misunderstood. I'm apologizing for how a technological glitch made somebody feel. And people, that video got more views in a shorter period of time than almost any video I've ever done. And I threw it in the trash can. That video was the 100th video that I did, which was kind of a big deal in terms of numbers. Instead of this being 102, this is 101. I did not throw that video in the trash can because I said something wrong. I threw it because I don't want to hurt somebody, regardless of whether or not everything I did was right. So, a couple of emails I got said, oh, you threw away some of the best stuff ever. Guess what, people? There'll be other good stuff. But I'll shut the channel down before I do anything that is going to hurt someone that I care about. And far above and beyond the fact that I care for every single person on this planet that is trying to get sober, I care deeply for Chi-Chi. If this wasn't a channel, I cared deeply for Chi-Chi before this was a channel. So, enough of all of that. And since I have your attention and we're all here, let's take a little bit of time and talk about some of the things that cause us to slip. Because as I said, I was over on the Safe Harbor there at Facebook, and I came across someone who, I'll tell you the story. He put it out, so I don't feel odd, or bad saying this. But last night he was someplace, and someone came over who was intoxicated. Somebody came over who was drunk. Now this person's the crew member is a person who's fighting alcohol as his drug of choice. So somebody comes over who's under the influence, and that person said some mean and some hateful things, and it is causing that person to struggle. Right now, he would like to take a drink. People, if I say nothing that ever sinks in, know this: it is normal to struggle. It is normal to go, boy, right now I'm hurting. This morning, this is the worst day I can remember waking up to since my father passed away, right? This is a very difficult way to get up, especially on 3 hours of sleep. And for those who know me well, I'm working on about 12 hours of sleep for the last 5 or 6 days. I am in a spell right now. I'm going through my insomnia. This is, unfortunately, I'm going through a bout of insomnia. So last night at about 3:30 or 4 in the morning, I was still awake, and I went outside for a little while, and then I took a walk. I was just finished watching the sunset, and I got to sleep, and I woke up to this. I woke up to the mess that took place because of satellite hookup. So I want to use it as an example because just like somebody coming over and who's under the influence of alcohol and saying some things that really hurt this guy, this was hurtful this morning, and some people have said some things about me because of it that are hurtful. I don't care what you say about me. I really don't. I mean, when you get 10 or 15 of them in a day and you get some people that quit the ship, that's painful. But what hurt me was not that. What hurt me was I really love this woman. I really do. She's just a great human being, and to think that for even a hot second she thought that I said something bad about her threatened my serenity in a pretty big way. Not her fault, not anybody's fault. It's just the reality. So what happens when that takes place? People, there is a physiological element, right? Before we relapse, one of the first things that happens here, right? It happens with our body. When this took place, my breathing changed, right? And I immediately started to I went in on myself, right? All of these things started to happen, and you go into panic mode. Your brain literally starts to release chemicals that causes you to panic. I started thinking to myself, oh Lord, the boat, this thing that I'm building, they're all going to think I'm a dirtbag, and all of these things started to come together. And then I had visions of this person that I really love in another country weeping over things that she thought I said. This was devastating. At that point, much like the person that got cursed at, you sit down, right? You control your breathing. The first thing you do is, you better get the physiological elements under control, or you're not going to get the mental elements under control. So you sit down, you get your breathing under control. You start breathing in, right? Breathing out, doing it slow. We've gone over this so many times, right? That your brain doesn't understand what's going on, right? The centers of your brain, although they're all interconnected, they don't communicate very well. So what happens is the emotional part of your brain starts to release some chemicals, and the other part of your brain goes, uh-oh, we're in panic mode. What are we fighting? What's going on? Do I need to protect you? And adrenaline and all of these other drugs start coming down. We need to reprogram the brain, and we do that by kicking back, taking very deep breaths, calming down. So if you're that person, and last night somebody came home and they were under the influence and they said some really awful things, you need to realize that we say as people all the time, boy, that made me feel so bad. Nothing makes you do anything. For real. It doesn't matter what happens in the world. What the outside elements and the inside elements should not be so interconnected that you can literally say out loud, this person made me angry, or this person made me upset. You have to be able to control what the external does to the internal. I hope I'm making sense. So somebody came over. They were under the influence of alcohol. They said hateful things. Boom. That's the input. All of that comes in. Now, how you react to that is what is going to dictate not only how you feel, but it's going to dictate your next move. So if we allow people to rent space in our head, and people, I'm not a guru and I'm not perfect. I promise you, in the last 45 minutes, I had an entire apartment complex full of people renting space in my head. Sadly, I was giving them space in my head. I was giving it to them rent-free. You start getting your breathing under control, right? You start to get the physiological under control. From there, we can start to get back into our head, and we can start to rationally start thinking of things. Last night on the live feed, the one that I just deleted, I talked to a gentleman that was ready. He said he's ready to get in a fist fight. He's ready to knock somebody out. Take everything through to the final conclusion. So my first thought was, I'm going to step away from this channel, right? Not quit, but I'm going to step away from this channel. I've got stuff in the can that I can film for the next couple of days. So let's start running this through the logical conclusion. And I said to myself, well, that's healthy. There's nothing wrong with stepping away from the channel, right? I can give myself time. This is no big deal, right? But you start carrying it through to the final conclusions, and you start letting logic take over, because once you can detach from the emotion, right? Emotion and logic are not friends in any way, shape, or form. Emotion and logic don't get along, right? So I remove the emotion out of the equation and I start thinking logically. So what do I benefit from stepping away? Well, you get away from the emotion and you don't let people bother you. Now, what I do is I lose this accountability, right? That's what's going to happen. There's no accountability anymore. So if I'm acting like a jackass, or if I'm acting brooding, or I'm in on myself, I don't have a group of people that are watching and putting in the comment section, hey, Tommy, what's wrong? The next thing that's going to happen is individuals who need assistance right then, assistance that they're not going to get from the video. Well, those people are going to be out in a lifeboat, but it isn't going to be ours. They're going to be bouncing around on a sea of trouble without anybody to lend a hand. I'm not saying that the people on the boat would not reach out and help, but I need to be tied into everything that goes on here. I really do. That is the mission. That is what I've set out to do. So sitting back and being logical and starting to take all of this through to the final conclusions, the proper decision is not for me to take time away. The proper decision for me is to ensure that everybody knows exactly how I feel. and to get this issue taken care of. Now, back to the gentleman whose friend came home last night drunk and started to go off on him. Okay, he said it really makes him feel like he wants to drink. Let's talk about that. All right, it makes you feel like you want to drink. What's going to happen if you do? Seriously, let's take it through to the final conclusion. So you crack the beer, or you take the shot, or whatever you do, and you start to consume some alcohol. Within the first 5 to 6 minutes, you're going to get the release chemical from the brain is going to tell you, you just did the right thing, right? Everything is going to be okay. You just did the right thing. And you're going to get that feeling that life is good, right? Everything is okay. So the next thing that happens is the alcohol will now get into the system, goes through the lining of the stomach, right? Gets into the bloodstream, starts to affect the brainstem. Now, you are going to feel that sense of well-being. That sense of well-being, believe it or not, people, doesn't last long. Because what happens is you slide into the next phase. And when you slide into the next phase, what happens is your ability to start making really good decisions starts to go away. What happens with alcohol is kind of unique as compared to other drugs. The first part of your brain that it attacks is the part that usually deals with inhibitions. People, inhibitions almost across the board are a good thing, right? This morning, me, when I got emails from people that said, I can't believe you said that about Chi-Chi. I didn't say that about Chi-Chi. So the first thing I wanted to do was come on here and lambaste all of the people who thought that I did something wrong. The truth of the matter is the people that get on this live feed aren't going to be the people that sent those emails. So what I'm going to do is come on here and yell at a bunch of people who support me anyway. Makes a lot of sense, right? Okay. If I had lowered my inhibitions by having a couple of cocktails, or for me, doing a drug, I would have come on here and made a jackass out of myself. Well, the same thing happens with people once they start to, I'm not talking about the normal person. The normal person goes out and has a couple of beers, big deal. But if you are an addict and you start to drink, once those inhibitions lower, you're drinking because somebody upset you last night. And you take a couple of drinks just to mellow yourself out. You're going to be on the phone with that boy. I promise you. You are going to reach out, and 2 more beers, you're going to go, you know what? Screw that, man. He and I are going to talk face to face. And 2 more beers, I'm ready to punch this dude. This guy needs to get hit in the face, right? What happens is everything that we think is going to fix the problem, and by the way, let's again carry through to the perfect case scenario. I drink and it makes everything go away for a while. The problems are going to be back in the morning. Absolutely, they're going to be back in the morning. But the difference is you're going to have no sobriety under your belt. What kicks in then? Guilt. Man, I threw it all away. Somebody made me mad. Right? Nobody makes you anything. Somebody made me mad. I decided to drink. All of that went away. Now I've got no more sobriety and I feel guilty for what I did. I feel guilty, and that guilt just keeps building and building and building. And you know how we get rid of guilt if we're an addict, right? Have a couple of more. Crack a beer. That guilt will go away. And 4 months from now, you're going to be sitting there going, the guilt continues to build. Every morning that you make the guilt go away, it doesn't disappear, people. It goes in here and it festers and it gets bigger and bigger. Take this from a guy who had to deal with 20 years worth of guilt at the same time. When that happens, you either have literally a psychotic break. If you've spent 20 years making all of that guilt go away, one of 2 things is going to happen. When you finally deal with it, it's going to force you to create a new person, or you're going to go nuts. I know that that's not the medical term. I'm not a doctor. It will literally drive you insane. So we got to not let people rent space in our head. We got to not let people live rent-free in our head. So for the guy that came over last night, look, you think he was even on his game? This guy came over and said hateful things. Why? Because he's a drunk. Because his inhibitions were lowered. Why was he mean to you? Because you held up a great big mirror to him, right? This cat showed up and you're going, I don't drink anymore. What you really say when you say that, whether you realize it or not, and even if you're trying to be kind, when you say, look, I don't drink anymore, you're saying, you're an alcoholic. Here, check out this mirror. I'm getting sober. I'm taking a look at myself. What are you doing? Here, check out the mirror. What are you doing? Huh? You know what I'm talking about, people? When you get sober, you force all of the people around you who use to take a good look at themselves. They're left with 2 options. They usually can pick one of 2. They're going to say, good for you, man. If they really care about you, they're going to say, good for you. Listen, I'm out of here. I don't want to be here under the influence and make you, I'm gone. Have a good one. I can't tell you how many times in my life I've told somebody that I'm sober and they go, man, good for you. Nah, seriously, I'm proud of you. It's probably not going to last very long. For real, right? They start out trying to be kind, but within 2 minutes, that part of their brain that says, wait a second, Tommy's not using, why isn't Tommy using? He thinks he's got a problem. Does that mean I got a problem? Why does he think he's better than me? And it just snowballs. And the next thing you know, you got a very negative guy doing everything within his power to cut you down. There was a question on last night's live feed, and it comes up on every live feed that I ask question and answer. What do I do with my friends who use? Stay away from them. Stay away from them. Unless you're in a situation that you cannot control it, don't let them into your life. So last night when that person came over and said, hey, what's going on, man? And have a good one. Get up and leave. Seriously, go for a walk for an hour. Don't put yourself into a situation where someone still under the influence can threaten your serenity and threaten your sobriety. There's no reason to. You control your environment. Unless you are incarcerated, people, there is always the ability to walk away from the thing that is threatening you. Walk away. I realize we're past that right now. There's no ability for you to walk away because it's already in your head. But seriously sit and think about it. Why are you allowing this person, who, by the way, is still in the life, this person is still living controlled by alcohol? Whether you subscribe to the 12 steps, whether you subscribe to the 8 steps that we talk about here, or whether you have designed your own method of getting sober, everyone starts off with the same premise, right? It doesn't matter how you arrive at the finish line. The first premise is always the same. We come to the realization that we're no damn good at drinking, right? Or we're not any good at eating pills, or we're not any good at whatever. The first step to getting sober is admitting that you cannot control your drug of choice. If you cannot control your drug of choice, what that simply means is that your drug of choice is controlling you. The guy that came over under the influence of alcohol last night to threaten your sobriety has no control over what it is that he does. He has no control whatsoever of the things that he says. You lose control. Do you understand? You lose control. So someone who came over that had no control over what comes out of his mouth is threatening you and your sobriety when you have control. Does that make any sense? Honestly, from a logical standpoint, does that make sense? You're allowing this person to control you. You who are sober. You who are doing the right thing. You who are creating a new person is going to allow someone in the life to affect you. I realize, people, that what I'm talking about is a tall order. I have, over 6 years, completely separated from my drug of choice. It's gone, right? It's no longer a part of my life. Yet this morning, I'm not going to tell you, people, that I wanted to go run and stick a needle in my arm, because that's simply not what happened. But I was hurting. I was allowing the external stimuli to make me feel a specific way. Stepping away from it and having the ability to really evaluate, and some help, right? I talked to Mark Wages. I reached out to Fiona. I talked to people who helped center me and help me get back, sort of where I need to be. And that's essential. But you start thinking and running through the logicals. For the gentleman who drinks, you say to yourself, does this guy even know what he's saying? Is it logical for me to allow this guy to rent space in my head? Okay, for me it was, does Chi-Chi really think, that I feel what she thinks I said? You know what I mean? If, when all of this comes to its final conclusion, is she going to realize how I feel? And then I started to think that I've probably left 300 messages back and forth with Chi-Chi since the time that we've known each other, between here and Chase the Heat. Hundreds and hundreds of messages. Nothing in any of those messages would give her any reason to think anything other than the fact that I find her to be just one of the most positive people I've ever met. Now, I have never had the misfortune of needing to say, She is very pleasing on the eyes physically. It's an embarrassing thing to say. It really is. And not because it's an embarrassing thing to say because of the world we live in now. There was a time where you could say to somebody, boy, you really are beautiful. And that was considered a compliment. Now it's just a sexist insult because that is what we have become as a society. You can't say something nice. It really is no longer. So for those people who are going to get offended by, the fact that I took the time to say that, God bless you. Seriously, God bless you. And if you feel the need to create drama over that, still, God bless you. I'm not letting anybody rent any space in my head. I certainly started that way this morning. I'm not doing it anymore. So, Chi-Chi, one of the most beautiful people I've ever met, inside and out, is what it is. So, for me and my problem this morning, it was a matter of getting out of here and not letting anybody else continue to rent space in my head. I lost some subscribers. I'm not going to lie, people, I hope they don't come back. Isn't that a terrible thing to say? But individuals who thrive on drama and individuals who thrive on hate don't have a spot here, right? There's no room for them. I don't care how big this boat is. There's no room for them. Plain and simple. Back to the gentleman whose sobriety is being threatened. Do you have room in your dome for someone still using? Do you have room up here for somebody who is still in the life, who is threatening the fact that you're sober because of where they're at in life? Is that something you want in your head? Right? Sounds stupid, right? Of course I don't want them in. Then why are you letting them? Why are you letting them? And I'm not lecturing you people. I'm telling you, I just did the exact same thing, right? I'm not any better than anybody here. I wish I was. I wish I was better at this. The difference between old Tommy and new Tommy is that the new Tommy strives to not allow these things to happen. The old Tommy just got high, which was a very simple way to fix the problem. And it's one you're considering, right? And I appreciate you being honest and saying that. But you are considering going and having a drink. You absolutely can go that route. And there was a person on the boat at one point who, that was his advice. If somebody said something like that, you're to say to them, yeah, go get drunk. I'm telling you right now, don't get drunk. Don't get drunk. It's not going to do you any good. In fact, it is going to hamper everything that you want in life is going to be hampered by that next drink. Crazy, right? But it's the truth. You want to be happy? That next drink ain't going to make you happy. I mean, it might for 45 minutes to an hour. The crazy thing about alcohol is it really doesn't even keep you happy when you're on it, right? Do you realize it is categorized as what's called a depressant? And there are people for whom they think that it means it depresses you. What it does is it depresses your respiration, right? Your heart rate, all of these things get slowed down. So it's not a mental depressant, but the truth of the matter is it's exactly what it does. How many times have you seen a guy, oh, and I wish I was doing this right now with my brother, because Johnny and I have a friend who is very much in the life. And this individual will send you a text message at 8 o'clock at night. And the text message will say, hey, I miss you. Been thinking about you an awful lot. And I just want you to know I'm sober and I'm doing well in life and I really miss you. At 10 o'clock, you will get a text that says, hey, I notice you're still not texting me back. Now, we don't text this person back because the person is so in the life. I'm not letting this person threaten my sobriety. Johnny's not letting this person threaten his sobriety or his serenity, so we just don't answer. So at 10 o'clock, it's, hey, I notice you're still not texting me back. But I'm not mad at you about that. You know what I mean? I understand where you're coming from. At 11 o'clock, the text comes in and it says, you think you're so high and mighty, and you think, and by 2 o'clock in the morning, there are 45 F-bombs in every single text that comes across, and they're coming across every 5 seconds. You can literally read the text and go, okay, this was 2 beers, right? He's happy as all get out. He is in that place, and I still love you, brother. And then 2 beers later, he is a little bit starting to round the corner. And by the end, and this is a phenomenon that happens constantly with people who drink, you get that happy window for a very short period of time, and then as the progression happens, well, then the inhibition's lower, and all of a sudden, if there's anything on your mind that isn't really positive, well, then it's going to come to the surface. And I'm going to tell this dude everything I have wanted to say to him for the last 5 months. Yeah, right? It is a unique drug in that it's not, you do, my drug of choice is heroin, right? I do a shot of heroin and I am the exact same in that buzz from the time I start until it starts wearing off and I need the next one. I am going to be on a very even keel. With alcohol, and benzos, you go through a very happy phase, and then that happy phase tends to start going away, and once it does, you start the anger. Any emotion that you have that is just below the surface is going to come to the top, and is going to start taking over. And we just said that emotions and logic don't like hanging out, right? Well, we push the logic right out, we let the emotions take over, and we say tons of things. How many times have you drunk texted somebody and said, I can't believe what I said, because your inhibitions were lowered so much that you just fired from the hip. You said things that you're gonna regret, right? We've joked about the fact that there ought to be a breathalyzer on the text device on your phone, right? So you blow a breathalyzer and the little thing comes up and says, no, you've had one too many drinks to be allowed to text, because it's going to lower your inhibitions and you're going to start saying things that, I promise you people, you will regret at a later date. So if you're feeling your serenity threatened by anything, the first thing that you need to do, people, is evaluate what is the threat, right? Don't evaluate the feelings. Feelings and logics don't go hand in hand. So logically say, all right, what's threatening my serenity? A group of people that are saying something about me that isn't true. Okay, when you start going logic on that, you're like, so these people are saying something that isn't true, and I'm going to allow this to threaten my happiness. Does that make any sense? From a logical standpoint, does that make a lick of sense? You, my friend, here is a guy that is drunk who said mean things about you when he couldn't even control his tongue, right? He doesn't have that ability. He's drunk. He's under the influence. But that is the threat. The threat to your serenity, sobriety, happiness, whatever you want to call it, comes from that. That's the threat. A drunk saying stupid things about you. Does it make a lot of sense? Of course it doesn't. Now, we can start to then, once we identify exactly what's threatening our sobriety, we can let a little of the logic continue. And once we know logically that doesn't make any sense. So I'm allowing this person to rent space in my head. I'm allowing this person to take up space in my head. If you are one of those people that absolutely has to fire back, I'm that person. I promise you I am. I get emails that say, so-and-so said this, why don't you make a video to fire back? Oh, I make those videos. I do. I don't post them, but I make them. There are times I absolutely have to make that video. There's times that I have to say what's on my mind. Doesn't mean I have to let anybody else see it. It's like writing letters to people that I don't mail. I write them all the time. I write letters to people who aren't even still alive, right? If I'm feeling really guilty about the things that happened when my dad was alive and I was still in the life, I apologize to him in a letter. I write really long apology letters for certain things because if it's renting space in my head, I'm going to get it out, right? I evict the things that rent space in my head. I throw them out. So you have to come up with nuts and bolts ways to do that. This person said things to you while drunk that are threatening your serenity. Okay, respond back. You don't have to do it face to face. You don't even ever have to mail it. You don't have to make a video and then delete it. I do this all the time. People, before I went live just now, I made a video to all of you. I said things in it that are stupid. I felt the need to get them out. No reason for any of you to hear them. Think I'm crazy? I have assembled a group of tools that I use to keep myself on an even keel and to protect my serenity and my sobriety. It works. I'm not telling you to adopt my set of tools. What I'm telling you is to continue to show up and continue to talk to people who have sobriety and listen to what they do to get through times like this. Do you understand? Find out what others are doing to see if it can work for you. Then put together your own toolbox. It doesn't need to be my toolbox, all right? It doesn't need to be Charlie Mullen's toolbox. It doesn't need to be Johnny Scoville's. It doesn't matter. You are going to put together your own plan. One of the reasons that there is a boat, people, is because for so long, I have been having people tell me that the 12 steps are the only thing that works. And whatever you do, don't deviate from them, don't change them. Well, they don't work for me. Doesn't mean that they don't work. They don't work for Tommy. So I made my own. And it worked so well that I feel the desire to come to people and say, you can make your own plan. There are things you cannot avoid. I promise you, no matter what road you want to take to sobriety, you better come to the conclusion that you can't control the substance and the use of it. If you don't do that, the rest of it is all bunk. I promise you. Because the thing that keeps us all in the same boat is there are things we cannot control. So, alcohol, drugs, gambling, porn, sex, work, video games, it doesn't matter. If you can't stop, if there is a compulsion to continue to do something, then you have no control. You have a dictator in your life dictating what it is that you're doing. Right? That is the common thread. The inability to pump the brakes is the common thread. We're not good at it. So, I don't know. People, I can't read the comments. We've gone over this, right? So, I don't know if the gentleman that was over in the lifeboat safe harbor over at Facebook is here. I hope he is. I hope he's hearing this. If you are, do not allow someone to rent space in your head. Do not threaten your sobriety because of a jackass. It's who they are. And I don't know if Fiona made it on to this live feed. Fiona was really bending over backwards this morning to try to help me not let space in my head get rented out. She was also the person that got to me in time so that I could get that video down. I don't know if she made it on. If she didn't, I'm sure she will see this on. She will go back and watch. She's very faithful about watching all of the videos. So, Fiona, thank you. Mark Wages, thank you for all of the people that really helped me sort of stay on the positive side of what was going on in my head. I cannot thank you enough because there are going to be times, people, no matter how far along you are in your sobriety, there are going to be times where you're going to need the assistance of people around you. Along the same lines, whether she sees this live or whether she sees this later, it's important to me that Chi-Chi knows how I feel. I probably have said it enough times in enough places to where I've gone far past fixing anything into the you're embarrassing me, and I don't want to do that either. But the only thing that I can really get a good handle on, people, is I can look down and I can see the count to know how many people are here. If that number gets low enough, I stop doing the live feed. That's pretty much the extent of what I'm able to do. Here, over here, I have something scrolling up that has the names of everybody that's on the boat. Unlike, there are a lot of people who can do the live feed going back and forth and back and forth. People, for me, there's a little piece of tape right about there. That's you, right? To me, that is you. And if I start getting away from that tape, then I lose the ability to do what I do. If that makes any sense. I probably sound stupid. But really what it boils down to is I want to interact with the people on this boat. The goal was never to... it was always to have interaction with you people, right? There are people for whom they shoot a video, they edit it for 4 days, they might shoot it 7 times, they get the best of everything. People, what I do is raw, right? I don't... And by the way, I've had tons of people who have volunteered to help me put out a better product. I have chosen one to work with, and that individual is Mark Wages. I'm not being cruel if I say to you, I really appreciate you volunteering to help me with editing and green screens and all of the things that can really put this into a much more perfect package. I have no desire to make this a much more perfect package. The reason that I believe we are being successful here, and by successful I don't mean 25,000 subscribers in a month and 4 million video downloads. I believe we'll get to that. I really do. But what I want more than anything, people, is for you to realize that you know the captain, right? I want you to realize that I am in the same boat, regardless of whether or not I get a cool hat. And let's be honest, people, this is a cool hat. But regardless of the hat or not, we really are all in the same boat. And I want you to feel like you're sitting in my office having a conversation with me. I don't shoot these videos the way I do because I'm lazy. I shoot these videos the way that I do because I want this to be quite simply a conversation. I want this to be a situation where we're talking. Does that make any sense? Can everybody nod for me? Okay. So, for that reason, when I start going like this, and I start going back and forth, and I'm trying to, read this on one screen and come up on this, I can't do it. If you watch me do that, I will lose the connection to the crew, and I'm not comfortable with that. I'm really not. The one thing that I do have going for me is in this little screen up here, when you first come on, your name appears on it. So I can see everybody that pops in. I don't see what you leave, obviously. But if I want to see what you say, I got to go down here. So, oh my goodness. Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi, I'm glad you're here. I will stop addressing this particularly to you. I am very happy that you're here because I was a little stressed out that you were out and I was unable to connect with you. So you know how I feel, right? So that makes me feel good. People, here's some good news. I do not have testable amounts of the C11 plus 8 in my system anymore. Right? That is over. That's the good news. The bad news is that means I'm going back to work. And that's just the nature of the beast, people. I am going to be heading back to work. For that reason, there's going to be changes in the amount of live feeds. I'm not going to be able to do this on a daily basis. It was important to me to get this sort of out of the system. We had a lot of people that asked that we go live. And I'm not going to say that I fought it because I didn't, but hindsight being 2020, I wish that I had started doing live feeds in August instead of starting in September, because I do believe that this has created a connection, not just me to you, which is super important to me, but it has also created a connection between all of the people in the comment section. There is nothing like the comment section on a live feed. It's a chat room, right? The reason, people, that I put up Facebook, the group over there, is so that could take place when I'm not talking. And it works because the gentleman that went in there today to talk about the threat to his sobriety, Saigon Cinnamon, was on this guy like white on rice, right? Instantly there to help. Yeah, people, that's the dream. That's what's supposed to happen. That's what this is all about. And so, by the way, to Mr. Saigon Cinnamon, yeah, the participation trophy of the day definitely goes to Mr. Workman. Saigon Cinnamon, you, my friend, have made me so proud. Truthfully, you are what the crew member. They really are. I'm highlighting Mr. Workman because he's fresh on my mind, and the timing was perfect. Then this is different than other YouTube channels. People, I promise you, I have, at one point we had 1,500, was it 1,500? No, we had 1,450. So we don't anymore because some people left. But that's where we were at this morning, which is eating hot peppers and doing things like that. And I love it. And the people on this boat, and the people who are going to see this down the road, you realize that some of the greatest crew members that we will ever have not seen the boat yet. There are people who are going to change the direction and not the direction, but they're going to change the complexion of this boat. The boat will look very different after we get some of the new people that are going to come on years from now, right? The way that this boat looks is going to change because there are people out there right now drinking, right? There are people out there right now drunk. There are people out there right now putting needles in their arms. And there are people out there right now snorting coke or gambling or watching porn or doing whatever they do that they need help with. People, it's our job to get them here. It's our job, right? You lead a horse to water. This is water, right? We're not going to force their face into it, but let's lead them. Let's get them here. And who knows? Maybe they'll take a drink, right? And there are people, I've already talked to people who have sent emails that said, I subscribed to your channel and I started drinking again and I unsubscribed. And I came back and I subscribed to your channel and I fell off the wagon and I'm back, and put out the message. What we do here, far more than entertainment. And it would be great if we're entertaining. That's good stuff, right? That's why the foul fish and all of that. It's good to be entertaining. I don't want to come up here and go and put out a product that makes people want to hang up. But the truth of the matter is that what we're doing here is important. Plain and simple. If this was about building the largest group of people that I could, this is not the subject matter that I would have chosen. I had a paved road ahead of me if I wanted to go and just be a Scoville. But my heart, people, is right here. My heart is helping people who are stuck in a life that I lived in for so long. And, you know, I'm interviewing people right now for testimonials that are going to be coming up. People, as much as this pains me, the problem that we've been having with doing the live feed interviews like I did with Mark, the reason we had to do that over on Wages World was twofold. With the equipment that I have currently, YouTube just doesn't allow us to do it this way. Mark went into the back office. I gave him access as a manager on the account, and he couldn't do it. So it wasn't the lifeboat, it wasn't me, it wasn't Mark. It is, I need, basically, if I want to make this happen, there's a new laptop that I got to get. And it pains me, people, because I don't want a new laptop. I am not a technology guy. Like there's nothing exciting to me about buying a new laptop. In fact, it makes me want to, but I'm going to do it. I'm biting the bullet. I went out yesterday to buy it, and the people at Walmart, and I don't mind picking on them, I went to Walmart and I said, this is the laptop I want. I spent literally 45 minutes in Walmart just trying to buy a laptop. I couldn't get these people to go in the back, get the laptop, bring it out to me, and let me take it out of there. The woman came out and said, well, it says that we have 7 of them still in stock, but I can't find any of them back there. I don't know why that is. I felt like saying, because you probably have a drug addict who works for you, who's stealing them. But the thing with this laptop is, it's about that wide. It's absolutely huge. More importantly, the technology is going to jive with YouTube so that I can do the interviews. But it's going to be the situation where when I put it over here, I'm going to have no problem whatsoever looking at it. I've had advice from a bunch of different people in terms of what laptop to get, and there are people that say, don't get a laptop, get a desktop. All I care about is the ability to do these interviews. I really don't need anything but the ability to do these interviews, right? And it started with, you remember, people, I shot the videos on my camera, and the camera then went to having to get a better setup with a much better, an actual dedicated camera instead of just having an iPhone. And then it went to, well, that's great, but the sound stinks. So I needed to go and buy this microphone thing. I'm not complaining, people. All I'm saying is we're putting it together. We're assembling what is going to be in place so that I can do everything that I want to do. And what started this diatribe is I am now interviewing people for to set up who's going to be doing the next interview that I do. And I've done when this starts coming out, when we start putting out regular interviews of people on the boat and their stories. You all know Grizzly, right? Grizzly Heat Griffith. Great guy. Rhett is, he's a brother. If there wasn't a channel, he'd still be a brother. He is a person that means the world to me. We communicate daily. He's just a great guy and a person who is always there to support you. He's always there with a prayer. He's one of my favorite people. So I had the privilege of interviewing his daughter. And I'm not going to steal the thunder because you're going to see the interview. I interview everybody before we do it because I want to make sure that there's no subject matter that obviously, people, the way to do it and do it right is to interview them first. And I've done the preliminary interview with his daughter, and what a testimonial, people. When you start to see these, I think everybody that saw Mark Wages, where I did the interview with Mark, it was awesome. It was awesome. The amount of feedback that I got since that interview. It's so important for people to see the success. We own our past, right? I come on here and I say, hi, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. I'm a convicted bank robber. That's not fun, right? There's nothing fun in owning your past, but it is essential. Unfortunately, I think too often times the guilt from our past allows us to own the things that we've done, but it doesn't make us super excited about celebrating and owning our victories. So a very large part of what I do here on the channel is going to be celebrating the victories of the people that have made it through. And Grizzly's daughter, right, the Grizzly Cub, is one of those people that have made it through and done so really successfully. And her story is just, it's awe-inspiring. It really is. I'm so looking forward to all of you seeing it. However, that requires some upgrading equipment, and I'm putting that together, people. So stick with a little, a little bit of patience so that we get that all put together. Mark is doing some amazing things behind the scenes to tighten up what we do here. We want to make sure that we put out a good product. The message is solid. Everybody is in agreement that the message is solid. And the venue, right? The boat. The boat is fantastic. The people who have assembled here really are the best of the best. And hopefully we prune the tree this morning. The people that decided to leave, good. I hate to be that guy, but that's really the way that I got to look at it. If you don't hear the message that came out this morning, then chances are this isn't the place for you. That's just sort of the way it is. And we're going to lose people. We have a very, very unique channel. If a person comes on here and hits subscribe and is really excited, it's no different for those people that use their phone to do, they have that app that tells you how long you've been sober. And it says the number of days, the number of the hours, the number of minutes, the number of seconds. And people download this. And it's an awesome app. Sorry, people. It's an awesome app because it keeps you on focus. Like you can pick up the phone at any point. My brother Johnny, his has been running now for years, but he'll pop it up and he can show you exactly how much sobriety he's got. And you'll see a lot of people over on the Lifeboat Show on Facebook, on our Facebook group, who will hold that up and just take a picture of it. It's a great celebration. But believe this, people, if you fall off the wagon, you delete the app. Right? You're not leaving that app up if you fell off the wagon. So you delete the app and you drink for a month or 2 months or whatever. But when you get ready to start getting serious again, what's the first thing you do? You go and you re-download the app. Okay. This channel is the same way, people. We're going to be a channel that goes like this. There's going to be a 5 to 10 people fluctuation in any 36-hour period of time. Because there are people who are here and they're excited about sobriety, and when they fall off the wagon, there are names that you all know. People that we were praying for, people we were pulling for that have disappeared. They're back in the life, and all we can do is, all we can do for is pray. We can pray for those people that they make it back. That at some point along the way we see these people, return to the. Chi-Chi, thank you so much. Chi-Chi just said, Tommy, I am so proud of you for what you have done here. There is so much love here. You gathered all the positive energy and it's glowing. You and the rest of the people on the boat take as much, or if not more, credit. People, the proof is in the pudding. Here's the deal. If you have the opportunity to listen to one of these live feeds and read the comments section, there will be, especially towards the end of the live feed, if you were to just take the comments and move them to the left and then watch the video, you would not know that the comments section in the video had anything to do with each other. And I'm not complaining. That's not a bad thing. You understand? But what happens very often is that I sort of become the dog and pony show that allows all of these people to come together and be positive. I'm not saying that I'm putting out a bad product. What I'm saying is that the most important part of this channel is the interaction that takes place between all of the people that come here. It was really an amazing feeling to see somebody on the Facebook page today talking about fear of relapse and what had triggered him and the fact that he was getting ready to use. And, you know, Mr. Workman there instantly just saying, no, you know, what can I do to help you? You know, talk to me. People, that's the dream, right? I hate to ever sound negative, but the truth of the matter is that if we don't do this, people, no one else is gonna. There's not a tremendous amount of loving and caring for people who have been addicted, or people who are, especially people who are addicted. Society doesn't much care for the addict, and we have a lot of that coming. You know, we addicts across the board are the people who steal, they're the people who lie, they're the people who cheat, right? And they're the people that sort of fray at the fabric of society. Own that. You got to. You have to own that. People, the amount of damage that's done by one heroin addict who goes out and steals to support his habit, the amount of damage he can do to a society in a year is staggering. So the fact that the rest of society really looks down their nose at that makes a lot of sense. You can't be angry at them for that. But it's a fine line. When that person truthfully decides to get sober, you know, as an addict, we want society to immediately go, oh, he's serious now. Now we're going to treat him good and we're going to support him. And, well, how many times have we said that? So if society takes a minute catching up to the fact that you're sober, you can't be upset about that. You just have to do the best that you can and hope that your actions convince people that you are a new creation. Right? That's all we can hope for. But while that is taking place, before society starts to accept you, this venue will. Right? The boat will be here to support you, so that as you're, you know, stubbing your toe, or as you're stumbling on this path, there are people here that are going to step up to the plate and they're going to say, "What can I do to help you?" Mr. George Workman, right? Saigon Cinnamon is a gentleman that is absolutely doing that. Fiona and Chi-Chi. I mean, if something's wrong, look in the comment section at how many times Chi-Chi is ready to talk to somebody about trying to help them. You know, it's we need you to see the comments as they happen, Captain, so it can be a fluid conversation among captain and crew. Who agrees? Oh, Chi-Chi, don't get them voting. That's all we need. No, people, I am working on that right now. I'm telling you. Right now, I'm doing this. See, now we got everybody agreeing with you, Chi-Chi. Okay. Right now, see what I'm doing here? Okay. Once I get this laptop thing figured out, it is going to be considerably more fluid. And that's... I promise you that will be something that we can do. The interaction back and forth will be something that, you know, that works. Trying to do it this way on a very small screen is really a challenge. Chi-Chi says, "I will always be here." You better be. Right? Don't make me come to Canada, track you down. So you're voting. That's great. People, I'm telling you, I was out yesterday trying to make this happen. And aside from the fact that I'm not complaining, people, it is what it is, but there's a lot of time that goes into to building a channel, and it means not spending time with loved ones, and it means, you know, some sacrifice. Now, if the channel that, you know, you're building is, you know, doing things like chewing on Tide Pods, or seeing if you can drink 2 gallons of milk without throwing up, like those. I couldn't justify taking time away from people I love to do a channel like that. What I'm doing here, I find not only is it fulfilling, but it also just as important. Hold on, you can look at a monitor on your laptop and then turn the monitor vertical. Pop the chat out here. Okay, as I said, there a lot of you have great advice for what is going to make this work and make it work the right way. What it's going to come down to is I need to buy a laptop. And as I said, there's a lot that goes into building a channel, but you know, there's also a lot of outlay of money, and the money and the time thing. I'm going to do this, people. I am absolutely going to bite the bullet and get a laptop. But you know, you can be patient with me until then, because number one, I want to make sure that you know, when I do that, I do it right, because buying a laptop, especially considering I'm not using it for anything other than what I'm doing right now. So I'm literally just getting a laptop for no other reason so that we can do live feeds and interviews. That's it. So if I had to do it twice, that would really be a bummer. So I want to make sure that I'm getting exactly what it is I need, and I'm talking to Mark and everything else. And I would like to get it as cheap as humanly possible. I don't want to. These things add up. I'm not complaining, people. It's part of building this, but these things add up. You get, it's a microphone here, and it's a new cables there, and it's a tripod, and it's all of the things that they're necessary to build, what it is I'm trying to do here. So I'm not complaining, but it's part of it. I'm going to make sure that I'm able to do interviews exactly how I'm able to do it. But I want to make sure that I dot every T and cross every I, so to speak. I don't think I said that right. But you know what I'm saying, right? It's, let's see here. Chi-Chi has to go. Chi-Chi, thank you for stopping in. It means the world to me that you were here to hear this. So that's huge. It means a lot to me. You have a great day, and you'll never have to see that again. We got that video down. I didn't say it. It still doesn't make it any more pleasant for me that you saw it or that was up. So I'm glad that is gone. You have a great day. Jack is back. Oh my goodness. So yeah, my friend Jack is in the comment section. Good guy, very good guy. He's not a fan of Mondays, but then again, who is? You know what I mean? That's. But fortunately today's Saturday, so we'll be all right. Yes, Chi-Chi, take care. People, I know the purpose of this live feed is, I believe we have successfully taken care of. Please read the feed after to see what I said. I will definitely do that, Chi-Chi. I will read through there. But the purpose of this live feed, folks, was to talk to not only to talk to the crew of the boat. It was also important to me that we talked to the gentleman who was slipping, who felt his sobriety was at jeopardy because of what had happened the previous night. I think it's really kind of important that we had the opportunity to make that fly. So and so said, I thought you had a laptop already. Yeah, I did. I had the setup already, but what I need is a new setup, and that's sort of the reality. There is a laptop here right now. It's not mine. It's a borrowed thing, and yeah, I promise you, people, I'm taking care of it. But and we just had someone say hello from Finland. Oh, Jack may have this taken care of. See, Jack is here for us. Jack will also be doing some artwork, people, and you're going to be seeing that soon. I feel the need to say that so that it pressures him to actually do it now. Right? Also, we are approaching, got about 6 days, people, until you'll have an opportunity to get that first shirt, the Saigon Cinnamon Special. If you have not seen the shirt, you can go over to the Lifeboat Show. That is a group on Facebook. If you're not a member of that group, hit me with a request. We'll get that taken care of and get you in there as fast as possible so you can see the shirt. It's got the slogan on there. It says, never quit quitting. And then on the sleeve, it says the Lifeboat. Just below that, it says crew. It's a pretty cool shirt. That was a design accidentally on his part, but that was a design by Mr. Cinnamon. So do head over to the Lifeboat Show, our Safe Harbor Port, over on Facebook. Get a look at that. Okay, I'm just checking here. Okay, people. Sorry. Again, see, this is the fun of the sort of disconnect between this, which is good, and this, which stinks. All right, people. Listen, I am going to be wrapping up this live feed. Right, I'm going to go and spend a little time with the family. But what you can do, people, if you want to continue this is why it is so essential for all of you to get a chance to go over and join the Facebook setup that we've got for the Lifeboat Show over on Facebook. If you're over there you have the opportunity to then move over into Messenger, right? And it literally just becomes a chat room for the boat. So if you're ever feeling like you're slipping, one of the things that you can do if we're not up and running here in the boat, we're not in the middle of a live feed, or the comment section isn't jumping, all you got to do, Brandon Calloway, 7 days sober. Well done, my friend. We have hit the 1 week mark. That is awesome. For real. Brandon Calloway, 7 days sober. Congratulations, Brandon. Fighting the good fight. First week under your belt. According to science, you go 14 days and you're going to start leveling out on the brain chemistry. That's when you start, and again, it's different for everybody, but the popular science right now says that at about day 14, you should be pretty close to the brain chemicals starting to realign. Now, depending on the drug of choice, that's study that has been done really as sort of ad nauseum was done for alcohol. If your drug of choice is coke or heroin or meth or whatever the case may be, that's going to be a slightly different number. But pretty much across the board, as you get to that 2 week mark, you're really doing a lot better in terms of good decisions, all of the things that drugs and alcohol cause us to slip with. All of that starts to level out within the first 14-day period of time. So that is, let me see here. How much age difference is there? Matt Front asks, how much age difference is there between you and Johnny? The correct question for that would have been, how much older is Johnny than I am? Johnny is 4 years older than I am. I'm his little brother. And if you've ever spent any time over on his channel, which is called Chase the Heat, he's actually talked a great deal about our relationship as brothers. I was brought home, as the story goes, on the 6th of July, which is Johnny's birthday. So, and as the story goes, of course I was there but don't remember it, but the story goes as I was brought in this little bundle and sort of presented to him. He said that he had wanted a fire truck for his birthday. So if you're ever over on Chase the Heat, you'll notice when he does the videos, especially the morning ones, on top of his refrigerator is a red fire truck. That was a gift from James J. You all know James. I think he's taking a little time off right now from social media. But James J. actually got that for him because the joke was always there about the fire truck. James went and found a 1970 Tonka truck and purchased that to get to, and it's perfect. I don't know where he got it, but it's from the year that I was born, and it is absolutely a perfect little red fire truck. It's awesome. Okay, Moment of Truth is saying something about being blacklisted. Moment of Truth, where were you blacklisted from? Because I didn't catch the beginning of that conversation. So if you get an opportunity to put that up there, I would be curious to know exactly where you have been blacklisted. Obviously, not around here. We don't do that. Oh, Jack, you're a funny guy. You got blacklisted at work. I assume that's probably something you're referring to with promotion or something like that. You know what, people? Again, there are things in this life that threaten serenity, and anytime your serenity is threatened, so is your sobriety. Work situations, some of the toughest for people, because if you break up the amount of time on this planet and you realize just how much time you spend at work, it's a frustrating thing. If you feel like you're being passed over, if you feel like you're not having opportunities at work, that is a very difficult thing to do. Depending on what it is you do, people, I can't stress this enough, right now in this country, regardless of what they list the unemployment at, there are 10 million jobs. He means all work. There are 10 million jobs right now in the United States that are unfilled. 10 million jobs. It's actually, if you take the number of unemployed people and the number of available jobs, there's literally at this point, especially like where I live right now, I went through an employment agency to get the job that I have, and The day that I walked in and talked, they said, we'll have you a job by Monday. I mean, literally, the guy said to me, if you don't like the first one, then turn it down, because the number of jobs now, this is where I'm at. But, I also, because of the fact that, I was a convicted, felon, for me, I was not very picky. And that's tough, especially if you want to work within a given field. And I understand that. For me, it was, I'll take what I needed was a job. And I was more concerned about what it paid than I was concerned about anything else. So I was willing to take just about anything as long as the pay was right. But I'm learning a great deal about life at my job. It's sort of one of those Zen things. But if you just lost your job, it's a very difficult thing. That's something that threatens a serenity completely. I absolutely get that. It's one of those things that it's difficult, and people. There are going to be difficulties throughout our lives. There are going to be things that again threaten your serenity. And so much of what I say anytime we get to one of these situations sounds like a cliche. But people, there is a reason that there are cliches. Because there are truths that get repeated so many times that they become a cliche. There's no way to avoid the fact that they are truths. And one of them is this. No matter what happens to you in life, it is either a opportunity, right? Or it is something negative. And the difference is not the situation. The difference is how it is observed, and it is what you do. Truthfully, it's what you do with whatever happens. The fact is, if you go back now, 7 or 8 years, I was on my way to prison, federal prison. And when I walked through the door, I was still in the life. I was still getting high. I was still being an idiot. And I got stabbed and ended up going to the special housing unit, which is, if you've seen movies, the guy says he got sent to the hole. Okay, I was in the hole. And that was, for me, a low point in life. Then the following day, I got a Dear Tommy letter from my wife that said, I want a divorce. The next thing you know, you find yourself at the all-time sort of the lowest point that you're ever going to be. That literally was the lowest point of my life. But it was an opportunity. I really and truthfully looked at it that way, and it was the first time in my life that I ever did. Instead of looking at it and going, this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me, I got to get drugs and I got to make this go away. What I did was I said, it's never going to get any worse than this. I can literally start to rebuild my life from this moment. And instead of going back and just trying to climb out of that hole, I decided that it was going to, when I popped out and my head came out of that hole that I was in, I was going to be a different person. That was the catalyst, and that was the driving force that said, when this is over, I'm not going to be the same person I was. And it started the entire process of me wanting to change and trying to change. So from that moment forward, everything that I did has been different. Now, I'm not going to lie, people. It wasn't perfection from day one. I didn't have the tools. I had a lot of knowledge about things that I had read in terms of sobriety, but applying the knowledge and turning knowledge into actual day-to-day nuts and bolts tools that you can use in order to get sober, that is not something that I had any kind of skill to do. And by the grace of God, I met a guy that they call Q. He was a black gentleman, and if you know anything about prison, blacks and whites do not hang out. And I mean, this is etched in stone. The people that run the prisons don't want the races to intermingle. So when you get to the chow hall and it comes time to eat, there is white tables, there are black tables, there are Mexican tables, there are gang tables, and obviously the gang tables are separated by the individual gangs so that they can try to keep some form of some semblance of peace. But yeah, bottom line was this gentleman took an interest in helping me. The two of us, both of us, basically had to get way out of our comfort zone because the whites were not particularly happy that I was sitting with this guy in a library and talking. and the blacks were not happy with him that he was sitting in the library talking to me. What really was a benefit was I got a job at a place called Unicor. Unicor is a factory that is inside the prison system. And they do different things depending on what facility you're at. But where I was, we were making uniforms for the federal government. And these uniforms were for, at our particular facility, was for the Navy, it was for the Marines, and the Coast Guard. There are places that do Air Force, there are places, and they do different uniforms at different places. If you've ever seen the Navy when they're not buffed out and in their whites and all that, you see they wear like a khaki outfit. That's what we did. We put together the pants, the shirts, and I worked as quality control in that factory. The beautiful thing was, so did Q. So as quality control, I'm not on a machine. I'm not sitting there all day long stitching and doing all of these different things. I was going through and approving, either putting my stamp of approval on something or rejecting something. And you talk about a challenge. You've got 300 people in a room, all convicted felons, who are all carrying around 6-inch long scissors. And my job was to go up to them and say, you're not going to get paid on this product because it didn't pass, right? What could possibly go wrong? I was, honestly, this is no joke, I was one of the only people that worked as a QA there that never got beat up or stabbed. Because usually there's a lot of animosity when you tell somebody that, yeah, you just spent 40 minutes putting together an entire uniform, pants, shirt, whatever, but this doesn't pass and you're not going to get paid. Because they literally get paid what they call box pay. So they get paid on each garment that they're able to successfully put out. But what I would do is go up and say to them, here, come and check this out for me. You think this will pass? Instead of going, you're not getting paid on this, I would say, do you think this will, because I'll push it through. It's up to you guys. Now, if they reject it down the road, it's just going to come out of your paycheck. But do you want me to push this through? And going that route, just trying to communicate better, people would say, no, give it back to me, I'll fix it. But working QA, I had, in any 10-hour day, you get about 7 hours of downtime where you're standing around waiting for the next box to come through. And during that time, I was able to talk to Q, and being in the factory, and we're in the same division, we didn't stick out like Wednesday in the middle of the week, a black guy and a white guy, conversing all day. But the amount that he did to help me with my journey into sobriety was just absolutely amazing. And you want to talk about a positive individual? This was one of those people that just, no matter what was going on, and no matter how ugly it got, he was just always positive. And for him, he had a very, very strong belief in God. And it was something that it was evident in everything that he does. People, I don't preach here. I mean, my belief on God. I've never denied it, and I won't. But he and I were on the same page in terms of our religion, which helped. But the majority of the time that we were together, we spent, just talking about sobriety. Now, full disclosure, before we opened it with a prayer and we ended it with a prayer. I'm not shoving this down your throat, but you want my story, you're going to hear my story. But he helped me assemble the tools to have an opportunity to move forward and try to enter this life and to stay sober. So as you're here, people, and you're listening to the things that are said, there is a difference between knowledge, right, and application. So you get the knowledge of what happens, right? There's a 2-part element to addiction. It's going to be the chemical you're using, plus it's going to be the fact that your brain rewards you for negative behavior. That's what makes somebody an addict, is that your brain rewards you for negative, for things that you're doing that literally threaten you as a creature. Your brain starts to reward you for that. That is what happens in the addiction process. Learning that, right, that's fact. Now, turning that into the tools that you need in order to move forward and stay sober, that's really the trick. What we're going to try to do here is to give you a combination of both. So listen to everything that's here, and we're going to try to teach you how to take those things and nuts and bolts, sort of assemble your own toolbox. Virginia, that is a beautiful thing to say. I really, really appreciate that. She says that I am her rock. That is such a nice thing to say. People, we have come to the end of this live feed. I've been on about an hour and a half. It's the weekend. I want you to spend some time with your family. That's always an important thing. People, if you feel like today is going to be the day that you use, come to the comment section and tell somebody. Or head over to the Lifeboat Show on Facebook and just post. Put a post up that says, I'm thinking of using, and watch what happens. Watch the number of people that are going to come to your rescue, because that is what we do here, right? It's not a cruise ship, right? It's a rescue boat. It's a lifeboat. So people, I want to thank everybody that came on here. I feel considerably better about how we sort of took care of this whole situation with last night's video. I think we could put that to death. Get that dead and buried. It's no longer up. I cannot say enough times thank you to all of the people that come on here and watch these live feeds. It means the world to me. People, it's the weekend. Feel free to catch up on any videos you haven't seen, right? Now's the time. So I appreciate you. Nothing's going to come up here. It's a live feed. I am Captain Tommy Scoville. Really appreciate everybody stopping in. Make it a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next video, all right? Go out there and save somebody.